What's poppin', y'all? We back with the DeAndre Way podcast covering the trust, a game of greed. This game has been vile for some folks. It's been a blessing for some folks. And some folks just been chilling out and just letting the tidal waves do what they want to do. And my next guest coming on here is none other than the chill man himself, the comic comedian, the chill master, the grill master, the whole PB and J master when he's making his kids lunch before the school day, Mr. Gaspare Randazzo. I knew I was gonna say
Randazzo.
Randazzo in the building. What's
Oh, that's
poppin',
a
man?
that's a nice intro. I'm gonna start using that when I go to bed. I'm gonna say that over the in my house and my to my wife before I come into the room.
Hey, look now, I gotta give you the floor, man, because you that man with the plan. You didn't have any votes on you the whole game, so you deserve the intro, man.
Thank you. Well, or apparently, according to the internet, I'm the man with no plan. They thought I was just there, but that's not true, as you know. You know what it is? It's funny because there's like subtle things that people say that, like, obviously I was talking all the time, fooling around all the time, but they don't air it. So it's like they're like, "Oh, guest was always telling stories. Oh, guest was always talking," but people are like, "Yo, you didn't speak the first 4 days you were in the house." I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa. I didn't get camera time the first 4 days. I spoke." But the thing is, like, I didn't bring any drama to the house. So, like, a TV show that's much more serious, like, this isn't a funny show. So, like, me being there, all I did was make jokes. So, like, they were like, "All right, we want to let you have some screen time, but what are we going to do? Have you just, making fun of everybody, roasting everybody? Like, it doesn't make sense." So, I was playing. I just was playing a different game.
Yeah, he was just playing the chill game, and I'm down with that. You was there for the money, but you knew what time it was, coach, and you let everybody else kind of do what they was doing. You're like, look, as long as I'm just chilling, I'll tell my jokes to y'all. Y'all laugh, don't take it too personal, and we can move on. So, Gasper, I'm gonna get it right into it, man. Why did you decide to apply for the trust?
I didn't. I didn't apply. So I applied for I auditioned during COVID. They had a I teach history. They had a show that needed for the History Channel, a show that needed a person who was a comedian who knew the history. And I was like, "Oh shit, this is like written for me." So I applied. I went pretty far in the audition process, went, you know, round, 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 round. And then in the end, they didn't take me. I'm like, "All right, cool, whatever." Fast forward like a year and a half, 2 years later, the casting director calls me and she's like, "I don't know if you remember me. My name is so and so. If you're interested, we have this show." And I was like, now at this point, like, COVID's over. I was already fully back at work. And I was like, "All right, yeah, whatever. I'm interested, but like, I don't know if it's going to go anywhere." And I don't like, did you ever do acting or audition for things in the past?
Yeah, no, I am a professional actor, so like,
Yeah, so like, you know the deal. It's like you get like strung along, you think you're gonna get picked, then you don't. So I was like, yeah, whatever. I'll just fucking audition because I don't give a shit. I went through the process, did it, round, round, round. I'm like, oh, I'm making it far, but like the shoe will fall soon because like I've gotten far. And then finally, like come January, this was like in October it started. In January, they're like, "Hey, don't book any more stand-up shows for March." And I'm like, that's my like income. Like, I can't not book shows. I'm like, "Did I get the show or not?" And they're like, "We can't tell you, but just like try not to book anything for March." I'm like, that doesn't really work for me. Like, I either got it or I'm booking shows in March. They were like, "We can't tell you, but just don't book." So I was like, "You know what? Let me just go with, I'll just listen to what they said." And I did. And sure enough, they told me I got it like February 27th. And then they were like, "Hey, we leave the 29th or whatever, and the 28th." And I'm like, "No, we don't, because I have to go to work on Monday and tell my school that I'm not coming in for a month." So yeah, it wasn't easy, but I got it. I did it.
yeah, that's crazy. They told you guys last minute. I mean, usually shows they give you a week's notice at least, and just give you like a pretty much like you pretty much have it per se, but they can't fully guarantee anything. But that's kind of wild. I mean, that is a lot. 'Cause I used to be a teacher too. You can't just get up on out of here. You got to let people know what's up because there's a bunch of kids relying on you to be there.
Yeah.
So I definitely understand where you're coming from on that. Well, you find out you get on the show, and it was real abrupt. So when you're packing your bags the night before you head out, what's going through your head?
I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Because, like, keep in mind, I didn't even know what the show was. We didn't even get told anything about it. So they were like, "It's an opportunity of a lifetime. It's for Netflix." I'm like, that doesn't describe anything. But I was like, here's the thing. If I don't do this, I'm going to watch it come out and I'm going to hate myself for not doing it. So I was like, so I'm going to just go through with it. I knew it was in the Dominican Republic because I had my plane tickets. So I was like, packed my clothes. I just was like, I guess this is what it's going to be. Like, I had literally zero expectations because I didn't know what the hell it was. So I was just like, I guess I'm not a teacher anymore and I'm a person on a show.
Hey man, look, the winds and the tides change quickly now, so you just
Yeah.
got to be ready. And you was ready though, so you got things taken care of, so that's good. So you guys get on the plane, head out to the Dominicana, and you get there, quarantine for a little bit, and it's time to head out. So when you get in the car headed to the destination, what are you thinking now?
I still, it's like doesn't feel real because you're just like, it was like, it was hard. Like I had to turn in my phone, turn in all my stuff. It's like you're going to prison, you know what I mean? And then like, as we're getting closer, I don't know how it was with Squid Games, but like, as you're getting closer, they blindfolded me. So I'm like, dude, am I about to get killed? Like, I seen enough mafia movies to know, like, you brought me to the Dominican Republic to kill me. Like, would have been much cheaper to keep me in Staten Island. So like they bring me to the show. They blindfold me. They take me to the edge of a friggin' cliff. And then they're like, take off your blindfold. I take it off. I'm the first person there. Nobody's there. And they're like, all right, just hang out for a few minutes. And then we're going to tell you to walk. And then they were like, all right, now walk. And then I walk. And there's Brooke, the host, just standing there. No clue who she was. And I'm just like, hey, what's up? How's it going? Like, no one was there. So I'm just like, what the hell is this? So like it still didn't feel real. Like what you see when we're like hearing the explanation of what's happening is us learning what it is for the first time. There was no prep. Like like Big Brother, they know what Big Brother is. You're not going on Big Brother having never watched it. Survivor. Like, I'm sure for you guys there was a lot of just like learning for the first time because it's the first time the show was ever out. So it
Yeah,
was just weird. It was, I can't even explain it. I have no idea.
no, definitely. I mean, we knew it was Squid Game. We knew that for a fact. I mean, there's 456 people were giving numbers, like duh, like so we had an idea. We didn't know the circumstances per se, but it was definitely at least
But
we
did they
had.
tell you it was for Squid Games or no?
Yeah, we knew it was Squid Game.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't know if it was like kept a secret.
Oh no, they can't do that with that many people.
Were you
Shoot,
guys
what?
all in quarantine as well?
Mm-hmm.
How
Yep,
many
3 days,
days?
3 4 days. Some people were there for like a week. It just depended on when you flew in,
To
and some
500 people they put up friggin' hotel. How many handlers did you guys have?
it was so
Endless.
many. It was insane. I mean, at least like there was well around 50 to 75. Like there was a bunch of people coming in
I
and
was
out,
gonna
and
say it's probably one to every 5 or 6 people.
yeah, no, definitely. It was crazy, getting everybody assembled in there, but they somehow did it. It was a lot of, adjusting on the fly for them, I could tell, but it was the first time they did something like this, but they definitely showed up and showed out for
Yeah,
that.
dude.
So
That was the best Netflix reality show.
definitely. Well, soon you do get the blind. Yeah, you said you get the blindfold off. You see Brooke and whatnot, and you see everyone else come up, and you know the host explains the rule. Well, a small portion of the rules. You have a chance to share the money equally or vote people out, and you're all winners essentially from the get go. Who kind of sticks out to you initially out of the bunch when you see everybody?
I mean, just by like straight default, where I was on the line, I'm next. It's so funny how these things you could be so greatly impacted just by where you stand. Like where producers make you line up can change your whole gameplay. Because like just by default of like standing next to somebody, now you're like cracking jokes together. You're like, what is this together? You know what I mean? So I had Tolu and Brian next to me. So it was Tolu and then Brian, then I believe Bryce. So it was like, it was just interesting because, like, first off, I'm standing there in my jeans and a t shirt because they're like, oh, just dress comfortable. And then Tolu comes down in this huge dress. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, that was, I told dress comfortable, but nobody else was. And then Brian's in a full cowboy uniform. Bryce is dressed up. I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me. Like, I'm getting like screwed here. You know what the best comment I read online was? You ever see the show Jury Duty?
Mm-hmm.
Someone said, I'm pretty sure Gaspar is getting jury dutied right now. He's the only one who's not an actor, and everybody around him is just acting. And I was like, that's the best description of it. Because I just literally sometimes would look around and I'm like, there's no way this is real. Like, these people can't be really like this.
Yeah, I mean, look, you came out here trying to be, with the blue jeans and the base top, and that's the kind of the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, my friend. I mean, look, I guess you learn this lesson, like always be prepared. And if they say dress comfortable, dress business casual. If they say business
Nah, hell
casual,
no.
you dress the professional. So
Nah, I'm
you got
still wearing the same thing. I ain't changing for nothing.
okay. I like that. I like that. Respect, respect. Well, soon, yes, you find out it's $250,000, and everyone does the math. Essentially, that's a roughly 20,000 per person if everyone stays and keeps. Not life changing, but it can help a little bit. Teacher salary. I'm just playing.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, when they first said that number, it's like, well, all right. Like, it'd be cool to walk away with 20 grand. It'd be cool to walk away with any money. But I was like, yo, I didn't fucking fly all the way here to win $20,000. But I will say, and as you know, you can attest to this, like, the number one thing people always say is like, how did you guys all say, like, oh, I trust Brian, I like Tolu, I want to talk to Julie, I like hanging out with Jake, whatever. How do you guys say, like, you want to do all this, like, and share money with these strangers? And I'm like, guys, you are in a house from 7 a.m. till midnight, only with each other, no phones, no TV, no books, and all you have is conversation. I was like, think about just the time frame. I spent like 30 hours with Brian in 2 days. I haven't seen my closest friends I haven't spent 30 hours with. People go, that's like 10 dates. And after 10 dates, people say they're in love with each other and want to marry each other. So, like, you know what I mean? It's really wild when you think about it. Like, people think like, oh, you couldn't have really developed a bond that fast. And it's like, yeah, guys, like, that's all we had was each other to talk to. No distractions, nothing else. So, like, once they started saying, like, you guys can share, at first it's like, nah, I don't really want to share. But then you get to know people. Oh, Brian's adopting a kid. Jake's got a son. Simone's got kids. She's unemployed. Jewel's is a stripper. Like, we're like, oh, everyone could use this money. So it's like, all right, I'll share it. Not everybody felt that way, as you know, but
Yeah, no, definitely the bonds are become real, and it's hard as an audience member to see that. I mean, it's just human nature. Like they're just not there. So unless you've done that kind of experience before, you wouldn't get it. But yeah, it's real. You spend all
yeah,
this
like
time
when I
together.
tell people we filmed for like 23 days or whatever it was, they're like, what? They're like, we thought it was like 4 days. And I'm like, I wish, honestly, but it was not. It was a lot of days.
Yeah, it was a very hefty time.
How long did you guys film Squid Games for?
It only lasted 16 days total, the whole thing. So, and that was, if you made it from the beginning to the very end. So I was there about a week ish. And it seemed like a long time. Like you said, we're there all day. I mean, at least you guys have a chance to walk in different rooms and go outside and get in the pool. There was nothing for us. We was in a room. That was it. Here you go.
And then how often did you guys have like an event or a game?
After the first 3 days, which we did nothing, they pretty much had something almost every day after that. So
all right.
So they kind of got to the cut to the chase after the first few days they prepped for things. But yeah, you guys get in the house, start mingling and dingling and hanging out, becoming best friends, and you're gonna spend the rest of your lives having each other's phone numbers. And soon
Instagrams, not even phone numbers.
Instagrams, not that close. But soon the host Brooke pops up again and says there will be a series of tests to see who you guys should vote out, if anyone. And the first one is the box of secrets test. And random people will read secrets about each other and say if it's them or not. So how did you feel about this game as a whole?
Honestly, I was like, what secret do they have? Like, it's so, it's so crazy because they don't tell you, the interview process just goes on and on forever and ever. So at some point you just say something that they then used against you as your secret. So like, more so than anything, I was just like, what is my secret? Like, that's literally, I'm just sitting there like, what are they even going to say? Because like, what secret do they know? Like, did they hire private investigators? Like, you know what I mean? Are they going to say, like, that's more what goes through your mind. And then keep in mind, you knew these people for a day, and now they're like, I did, I slept with 150 people. Now, just going on what you know for 4 hours, who over there did that? So, it's an interesting concept. It definitely got everybody talking. I mean, it changed everything because everyone went from being best friends to, wanting to kill each other after that first game. So, yeah, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I mean, the floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah, that's it though. I'm just saying. So it's like, it, I was just more like confused. Like it was just more weird than anything else.
Definitely, definitely. Well, yeah, this different, completely different kind of show. There's no stakes there's no winning or losing. It's just finding out information. So nobody really reads into that like, hey guys, this is just information. Like we should just take it for what it is and not judge anyone from it. No one's eliminating anyone here. It's not you don't get to win money. It's just talking about information. But we soon get some secrets out, and the lie about the job. Everyone thinks it's Simone. They're wrong. I believe
Well,
money's
maybe
poison. You
they're
guys know it's
wrong because you don't actually even know if they're
true.
wrong. They just didn't have to admit it. So it's like,
True.
no, that wasn't me. And we're like, Okay.
True. True. Yeah. That's why I wish if they did get it right, they had to say. But you guys didn't know the secrets either, so there was no way you could have. I don't know. The game kind of just seemed could have been used better, in my opinion. But it is what it is. But as this game is going on, it seems like Jewels is getting a lot of the negative connotations aimed towards him. How did you feel about that?
See, Joel's is like such a mixed bag of emotion because it's like one part of me is like, he's like, yo, I was wrongfully thrown out. But from the girl's perspective, they're like, you did lie. Like, you straight up, the opening thing you said was a lie. So, if this is a game about telling the truth and trusting each other, you lied. So, I'm not saying it was right that he got voted out, but because I also, like, I live in New York City, I'm very aware of what the general public and people's opinions are on police officers, so I can understand why he's hesitant to be like, hey, I'm a cop, because I read on Reddit like people just straight up like, yo, if he said he was a cop, he would have been the first one I voted off anyway. So it's like, oh shit. So it's like one of those like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. But you didn't have to say stripper. You could have said, oh, I'm a barber, I'm a personal trainer. We would have believed anything. So it's like funny that he chose stripper because they viewed that as this guy's a hustler. He'll do anything for money. He don't care about any of us. He's selfish, which not really sure how any of those traits have to do with being a stripper, but that's what people thought. So it's like, oh, this guy's fucked.
Yeah, I don't know what strip clubs they've been to in the past, but apparently it wasn't a good time, and
Nah.
they shouldn't. That's was the doom in his demise saying the stripper thing. But yeah, I agree with you. I told him like I don't think you should have picked stripper. Maybe I'm a marketing executive or like bartender, anything, but anything kind of like any adult or seemingly sketchy quote unquote job. But I digress. So we continue the game and we find out someone's a millionaire. What are you thinking about that when we find out that?
Honestly, as I said when the game aired, I stand my ground with it. Like, if someone's good to me, I'm good to them. I don't care if you're rich, you're poor, So, like, who am I to say who deserves to be there? Because, it's a game show that's on Netflix. So it's not necessarily always just about the money. This isn't like you're playing lotto in your basement and you're like, I hope I win. You're going on a TV show for a reason, whether it's fame, whether it's fortune. And sure, you want to believe everybody there is like, I'm here because I need to win money. But like, that's not the reality. You know it. Everybody knows that. So, like, who am I to be like, oh, you're a millionaire. You shouldn't be here. Like, and like Julie's like, well, then go to the end and then let us vote you out. Like, that's crazy too. Like, that doesn't, you form relationships with people. And like, obviously, I knew it was Bryce. I mean, but then again, anybody could be a millionaire. You don't know. Look, if you put Mark Zuckerberg in that house and you didn't know who he was, the guy's wearing the same outfit I had on and he's worth billions. So it's like, you can't really just judge somebody by the way they dress, the way they look. Tolu could have looked like a millionaire. She was dressed nice. Brian's a rancher. He could have easily been a millionaire. So you have no idea.
Definitely, definitely. Well, soon the game ends and whatnot, and you guys go your separate ways, and it's almost time for the first vault ceremony or test ceremony, vault card pull, essentially. But before that, we see a funny clip of you and people saying you can't do 10 push-ups. So what's up with that?
I don't even remember what that was. It's so funny. Like, once again, it's like you watch some clips and you're like, I did that. Like, it's like so weird to even see it. I don't know. I guess Jake just worked out the whole first day because I guess he needed to work out. So I think I was just making fun of him. I don't know. I have no idea what it was about, but
Well, you prove them wrong. You get the 10 push-ups done easily.
oh yeah, I can do 10 at least minimum. I could probably do 40.
Okay. Okay, you heard it here first, folks.
50 if I have no shirt on, weighing me down.
Come on now, y'all. He up there. But soon, yes, Brooke pops back up and says 2 people will get access to the vault with 2 key cards. There'll be 2 offers, one for the group, one solo, and that's what's going down. And the first people who get these silver cards is Simone and Jewels. So, how you feeling about them going into this vault?
We didn't know what that even meant. You know what I mean? So at this point, we're just like, cool, have fun. Like, we didn't know that it was going to be what it was. So, and honestly, that once again, like going in that vault, we didn't know at the time, but now looking at it, like it's the death sentence because it's like that was the nail in the coffin for both of them because it was just like, we need a reason. So like whoever would have went in that vault, it would have just been like, there's our reason to get rid of them because there's no safe way to get out of that because you're forcing somebody to pick people.
Yeah.
That, what are you going to do? Alphabetical order, then you're an asshole. List order, you're an asshole. I like these people better than everybody else, you're an asshole. So like no matter what, it's destined to doom you.
100%, man. Well, they get in there, and offer 1 is you can each take home $2,500 from the trust for yourself if someone is cut at the next vote, or offer 2, $5,000 can be added to the trust, but they must block 2 people's votes at the cliff edge. They picked offer 2, of course. When they came back, said, this is what happened. We picked offer 2. What's the vibe like?
Cool. Okay. Like, like they were like, we didn't take the money, and we keep in mind at this point in my head and in a few people's heads, nobody was ever going to vote. So we were like, okay, you took away people's voting power. What's the difference? We're not voting anyway. So like, we were like, all right, cool. Good job. Like I never had any bad blood with Jewels. You know what I mean? We were like, sounds good. All right. See you later.
Okay. Yeah. Seemingly all nice, peachy keen, but behind the scenes when Gaspare was not around, there was chaos ensuing and Tolu was not happy. And she's plotting up to get this man up out of here for taking away her vote. And soon we get down to the trust ceremony for the first time. And so tell me how, you already mentioned like everyone was fine. Was it seemingly fine at this table talk before?
Dude, honestly, first off, you're at the table for like 2 hours because you got to figure everybody's got to go down and vote. It was like 15 minutes of being down there. So now you're just at this table. So everyone was just hanging out. Like, we said our piece. Hey, nobody vote. We're all good with that. Cool. I think like there was some talk, if I remember correctly, like of like, why'd you take away my power? But it seemed resolved and it was more of just like I'm mad you took my power, but I get it. You had to pick somebody. So I was like, all right, we're cool. And then it was like, nope, we're not. And it's like, oh shit, Yeah,
it got real after that, and the votes went down, and Jewels got evicted from the house and sent packing, and that was that. And afterwards, Brian gets up and says it's bullshit. He runs off, and you, Jake, and I called him the rancher at this moment, but Brian, y'all make a pact to get revenge. So tell me what was like the vibes and your perspective on things after Jewels got voted out.
But it's so funny because it's like, the way the show airs, of course, is always different than reality. So like, the way it was edited and the way it looks like there's this boys versus girls alliance. And it really was never the case. Like it wasn't a boys versus girls. You got to understand, it was like, it was boys. Yes. Jake, Brian, and myself would talk, but Julie was in it because she was with Jake. And Tolu was with us, and Lindsay was with us. You know what I mean? And Simone and Jewels, well, now Jewels is out, but Simone's kind of with us. So it's like, it's so funny that like they're only showing like the boys are in one room, the girls are in the other. But it's like, wasn't really the case. Like, which is why like we kind of, you know, it wasn't like it was more of just like a damn, like these people are playing the game to eliminate people. So we need to make sure that we are also playing the game.
Definitely, definitely, yeah, and it definitely looked a certain way. But I always, it's not always what it seems as they're
Yeah.
ending. That's just the direction they're
You
going
know
in.
what I mean? Like, think of it this way. Like, Tolu, myself, and Brian were all super close. Never talked game. We just talked life, hung out. She never targeted us. We never targeted her. You know what I mean? But yet the show makes it out like us versus Tolu. And it's like Tolu's mom called me yesterday to talk to me. Like, we're friends. You know what I mean? So it was like crazy to think like that this, it just plays out so different. Like, I was like, damn, like you're a villain. And she's like, how am I a villain? This is crazy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she's like, I was in the house fooling around just as much as you and Brian. I'm like, yeah, well,
Subtle things, but I wasn't too keen on how the fact that she got you was at the game. That's just my personal point of
no,
view.
and agree. Like, look, but but that was the gameplay. You know what I mean? Like, there's a difference between like playing the game and being hated for it, and then like being attacked on a personal level. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true, true. I think it was more personal than anything. I don't know if it was game move per se, but that's just
I
my
think that
perspective.
I think they wanted to get everybody, as many people out as possible.
Yeah,
So like it was like I said, it was game, and whoever walked into that vault was walking into a trap because now you just needed a reason to fire the gun. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, cool, easy target. Up, Simone was at them, another easy target. Up, you backed up Simone. Now and then you could just justify why you're cutting people.
yeah. But that's going against your motive right now. Is keeping everybody together. So I don't. It's diametrically opposing your position right now. But we'll get there soon enough. But soon, yes, the next day comes. Everyone's talking about their families. You guys are getting to know each other a little bit more. And soon it is time for the next test. Brooke lets us know, and you guys are out by the pool, and it's time to rank yourselves from least to most, depending on what the question is. How you feeling? How you feeling about this game or
So, dude,
test?
this game was the most fun game we played up until the end. What they don't show is like 30 minutes before what you see was all fun stuff. It was like rank yourself from funniest to from funniest to least funniest. So everyone's like, "Oh, you're funny." Moving each other. Rank yourself from most caring to least, like, it was like think like best dressed to least dressed, best cooked to least, whatever. Like things that we all laughed about. And then it's like, rank yourselves from biggest scumbag to the worst. And you're like, whoa, how? And then it's all of a sudden you have 10 people looking at you like, all right, you're the biggest asshole. You go over there, you go. And now all of a sudden it's causing tension. And then rank yourself from smartest to least. Like, listen, I'm not dumb. I'm not going to sit there and fight over being the smartest person in the house. It's irrelevant. What's it going to get me? The title of smartest person in the house. So like Jake and Julie wanted to fight it out. I'm like, good for you guys. They're talking about how many masters they have. I'm like, congratulations, everybody. You are the smartest people. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, whatever, and then I said my quote that I've been abused for the last month about the lion. So that,
Well, well, you have a chance. Can you say the quote correctly right now for us?
I don't know what the quote is. I think I just made it up as I went. It was a lion doesn't need to tell people it's a lion. He's just a lion, I think. But I said a lion doesn't need to tell people it's a lion. It just bees. And then I was like, no, that's not it. I fucked up. And they just left the whole quote. So.
Oh, classic, classic. Well, yes, I agree with you on this. I don't think it was a big deal. Who cares who's top, who's lowest? I don't care. I was with the same mindset. Why is this such a big deal?
Like,
Who
put me
knows?
at dumbest. I don't give a shit because like I
Exactly.
plan on winning because I had to leave teaching for this. I'm not going home without winning. So
Exactly. So I was on the same mind track as you like that. You completely made sense to me. But soon, yes, Jake gets the opportunity to decide which two people he will send into the vault, and he can pick himself, but he doesn't want to go in the vault, of course. But he decides to pick Bryce and Gasper. So how you feeling about him picking you?
yeah, I was like, this is a fucking death sentence. Like you're an asshole. I
Oh,
mean,
you was
like,
mad.
listen, I get it. I mean, you had to pick somebody. I wish he would have picked myself and Brian, especially because like we, you're saying we were the two biggest leaders in the house, and then it's me and Bryce who you have, so it was a weird mix, but I was like, whatever. I mean, like I said, Bryce and I were cool, so I was like, look, let's just go in there, make this decision, get it over with, and move on. Like we'll pick the lesser of the two evils. We were able to follow the list down because that list was set precedent. And a lot of people said, why didn't you save Jake? You should have saved Jake you knew, first off, we didn't know Jake was getting killed in the house. We were in the vault. That was number one. And like, yeah, of course it came up. We were like, damn, Jake's going to take some heat. But we also had to be smart for our own gameplay. I'm like, if we give Jake immunity, we are basically eliminating ourselves because they're going to say, oh, you saved Jake after he was mean. Now we're coming after you guys. So I was like, follow the list. Nobody could get mad. The list is set. The list is the precedent. And now we're doing the list again. The end.
Okay, smart decisions, and he picked Bryce because he got his vote taken away last time.
But then, like,
yeah.
What about
Tolu?
So
that was a mistake on his part too. He made a few errors on that with the whole line set up, like trying to care about that, and then also not picking Tolu for the vault because and giving that as a reason why he picked Bryce. So a couple, some errors right there, Captain. We got to, get back to the formation in the maps and regroup on his end of things. But yes, you guys get
you know how it is in the pressure of the moment. It's not that easy, like you're looking at 10 people who hate you right now, and you're like, all right, you and you, the end.
Yeah, definitely. It seemed like he just had to make it quick and get it moving. So, other people got to be understanding of the pressure, but they don't, and that's just how the story goes right now. But y'all get into the vault for the first time. How is it going to the vault? Tell me how it is.
Okay, like I said, it was more. It's stressful because you're like, whatever is going to happen in here is going to greatly impact my game. So
did it look cool? Like, did it feel good? Like,
it's like anything else.
Oh, dang, he was not impressed.
He said,
Netflix, y'all gotta do better.
What?
He said, Netflix, y'all gotta do better.
Wait, so, it was cool, but it was, look what I just sent in the chat. So, but it was cool. Like, what?
I agree. No, I agree.
Yeah. So it was just, I've seen cooler.
Okay, I agree with you. 100%, man. Well, you get the offers. Offer one is you can each take $5,000 out the trust for yourself, but you both have to cast a vote for the same person at the next trust ceremony. Offer two, you can choose to protect one person from the list of people up there at the next trust ceremony, but $10,000 will be subtracted from the trust. So in turn, they don't explain this very well on the show. $10,000 will be subtracted either way. They make it seem like offer one, $10,000 won't be subtracted. You guys get told this, of course. So with you both knowing why $10,000 would be gone anyways, and you won't have to block someone's, protect someone and put your guys' selves at risk, why not just take the money?
Because we felt like if you take the money, everyone's going to be mad at you. So
they won't know. You ain't got to tell nobody.
Yeah, and then you start that web of lies, and then all of a sudden, Bryce, or myself's getting limited, and as you're walking out the door, you're like, hey, by the way, we did this, this, and this, and you're like, oh, shit. You know what I mean? You don't know. I knew Bryce for 24 hours at that point. So, like, so I was like, I'm not doing nothing stupid, saying, like, anything that could benefit the team and not take money for myself is what I was going to do no matter what.
Okay. Definitely. Well, you guys get out there, pick option number two, because Bryce, he says he's here for the experience, not the cash. Y'all seem to come to a conclusion rather simply. But in the meantime, Jake is getting berated upstairs, being called this and that, and being thrown under the mattress and running for his life. And soon, you guys get back up there, explain everything that goes down, and, Jake's really hoping you pick him, but you decide to pick Julie based off the list, as you said. Makes sense. When you get back up, does Jake give you the lowdown on what just transpired with him and everyone else?
We walked into the house and it was dead silent. And I think they did. They show a clip of, I'm like, hey, we're back. And no one looked up. And then I went in another room. I'm like, yo, we're back. And no one looked up. And I'm like, I think they forgot about us. I'm like, what the hell? So, like, in a way, our talk about the vault was irrelevant. It like went over everybody's heads. Nobody cared. People were just like, cool, we have bigger fish right now. We want to yell at Jake and fight with Jake. So what happened? I'm like, we saved Julie. Cool, no problem. No one cared. Like literally, it was not even a thought. Like it was more just like, all right, we hate Jake. So cool, you didn't save Jake. So as long as you didn't save Jake, we're happy with it.
Okay, yeah, the vibes is definitely getting critical up there. And yeah, you guys have a little meeting, and the girls are upset and they're voicing their opinions up there. But soon we get told there's 8 hours until the trust ceremony, and the value is now $245,000. And Brian says there needs to be more people that think like him, Gasper, and Jake, which was funny. You guys trust in Jake. It does seem, you said there's not groups. It seems like it from a viewer's perspective, but I thank you for giving that transparency out that there's not.
No,
Um,
listen, I'd be 100% lying if I was like, there wasn't groups because there were groups, but it wasn't as cut and dry as just like the three guys, the three girls, the middle people. It was not like that. Like, that's what makes it so frustrating. And like, it was just a big group. Like, everybody just kind of hung out. Like, and then people broke off, of course, into rooms. But for the most part, like, I spent an equal amount of time with pretty much almost everybody in the house. You know what I mean? So it's just so crazy that you don't see that. But listen, you cram in 48 hours into 42 minutes. So
definitely,
yeah.
definitely. Did you see during this? Did you see or hear or witness Jake being disrespectful to Tolu and or Whitney at all, and Julie in any horrible way, as was claimed?
No, I mean, listen, like I said, I, I wasn't there. We were in the vault. So
Got it.
like when we came out and everybody's like arguing and fighting about what everybody said, I kind of just sat there. And I always have something to say, but I was like, what am I going to say here? Like I wasn't here. So like everybody was fighting, but it really, Bryce and I kind of were the outliers of that whole day. And also, like, you never really want to go to the vault also because you were in there for so long. And as you know, just from being a reality show fan, you never want to leave the majority of people because once you're out and about in the world, that's when people start talking about you. That's when people start, coming up with like theories of what you might and might not be doing. So you always want to be there so you have like your ear on the ground. So by being away, I mean, we just missed so much stuff. We were gone for hours. Like, look when we went in the vault. It was the day. It was super sunny. We walked in that, and we came out. It was pitch dark at nighttime. So just like
Yeah.
looking at simple things, like that's how long we were in the vault.
Yeah, no, definitely. Y'all was in there for a minute. But the girls get together and they kind of decide, this is what we're gonna do. And Jay doesn't decide to tell anyone what she's gonna do because she's the only one. Like I'm still voting regardless of what's going down, and that's that. And soon it is time for the next trust elimination ceremony. And you guys have your meeting before, but then it's time to go vote. So at this one, we find out that Julie and Jay both vote Simone out. And so when she find out that Simone's getting voted out, tell me what's your reaction to that?
Like, um, Simone wasn't very like vocal in the house, and like she was very close with Joelle. Not very close, but you know what I mean. They were a day of reality TV friendship close, and like she was really upset about the whole Joelle's thing, and I knew people were upset with her for being upset about Joelle's, and I knew she had made comments about like about how he shouldn't have went home. I think it was she just rubbed people the wrong way because the people who wanted Joelle's out then pointed their targets at her and said, once again, like I said, now the guns were drawn. So they were like, all right, let's just take out the next person. So it wasn't like a complete shock, but I was like, I was just surprised because I thought we were all like going to get along. But I was like, damn, she's gone.
Oh, they said this is not Barney and Friends. This is the trust. So, but yeah, Simone makes her exit. Unfortunately, everyone's upset again. The vibe is just not vibing. But soon the next day comes, and you guys have this little shuffleboard game. The shuffleboard game was kind of irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. You guys just all took the money, about $1,200, and that was that. Nobody took the safety. Pretty simple. Um, but then we find did you land a shuffleboard? You
Yeah, I
landed
got
no, you didn't. You got the $2,000. You got the two
yeah.
thousand dollars. Okay, so you got some shuffleboard skills up in there. Everyone seems to be happy now. Kumbaya, we making up whatnot, and but soon, like, how was that after the shuffleboard? Because at that point, it seems like a turning point came. So what was it about that kind of like made
I
everyone?
think it was just like, oh, we made money as a team. We laughed as a team. We had fun as a team. It was just like, oh, we can be a team.
Okay, pretty
That
simple.
was
Pretty
it.
simple.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
just like, okay, we're good for today.
Got you. Well, soon we find out that Jake and Bryce are the next two to go into the vault. And the two officers offer one. You each get $10,000 from the trust to keep someone. If someone goes home if someone goes home in the next trust ceremony, offer two is $2,000 will be added to trust for each person that does not vote. So they come out and tell you guys that they picked offer two. How you feeling about this?
Okay, like once again, I'm like, all right, cool. Like, just don't vote and we make more money. Like, it's very simple. But dude, like everything was that simple. It just never was that simple. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you make it sound so easy, coach. You make it sound so
It
easy.
was easy for me. You saw. I was just hanging out.
You was in the cut just cooling. I mean, I thought it was that easy too, but I guess we just some two easy fools over here who just decide not to take the hard route on the trip to Las Vegas. But yeah, that's the settings and whatnot, and they decide to pick offer number two. It's soon time for the trust ceremony. Nobody votes this time. We're all good and dandy. So how you feeling after everyone doesn't vote for the first time?
Yeah, I was like, oh shit, we're gonna make it to the end.
Oh, you believe that?
Yeah, because like I was like, all right, we didn't vote. Now they're gonna make it harder. We just got to keep turning down the money for the greater good, and I think we'll be good. That's what I felt.
Okay. He said, I'm here for my $20,000.
I knew it would go up because I said every time someone goes in the vault, if you turn down the money, it's going to go back into the vault. You know what I mean? So I,
Well, they turned down the money for the other time and it went down.
well, but you get what I'm saying. Like the logic was like, oh, eventually there's going to be things that are going to raise the stakes. So
True. Facts. Well, soon, Brooke comes out again, and soon you guys rewarded with this fancy dinner, and you have to pick people and whatnot, and nobody picks you. So, I mean, I'm
that
sure.
was rigged.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Nah, you know
Uh,
what? Once again, that was one of those things where it's just like, that's the luck of the draw. You know what I mean? Like, you can only pick one person. There's an odd number of us. So, like, although I don't think it was like malicious, like people were like, that's fucked up. I would have picked you. I'm like, guys, you picked somebody. Like, we didn't, you guys were on a show where you picked somebody and screwed them. So it's like, it was not, I more was concerned that like by not getting picked, I thought that was going to be like my elimination ceremony.
yeah, no, that would have been tragic, Coach. I would not have been fond of that. But you get Brooke to go to, and she's tall. I didn't know she was that tall.
Yeah, she's. Oh, I'm short, so
Yeah. But you guys go soon at the dinner table and whatnot, and everyone's having the beautiful, delicious meal. And soon, Bryce decides to get up and reveal his secret. And his secret is to tell everyone, I'm the millionaire, y'all. I'm the one with the Gucci shoes. I got the rollie on. And so, how you feeling when he's saying all these things?
like I said, I already knew. I mean, it was like, you know, I, his shoes cost more than all the clothes I bought in the whole week, the whole month. So I was like, dude, all right, cool. Nothing changed on my end because, like I always say, if you're good to me, I'll be good to you. So I was like, all right, cool. But obviously, not everybody felt that way, and people didn't want him there because he was a millionaire, and we need money. You don't. Why are you here? So I understand their logic.
What side do you take on the if he should be here or not because he got money?
I take the side on if you were you know, from a financial standpoint, I guess it's like, yeah, he shouldn't have been there. But from a I want to be on TV standpoint, why shouldn't he have been there? Just because you're a millionaire. Also, what does a millionaire mean? You know, what like, do you own a house that's worth $1 million, but you have $0 in your pocket? You know what I mean? Like, not to sound like, philosophical, but like a millionaire is not what it was 50 years ago. Maybe he's a millionaire, maybe he's got, millions of dollars in bills and he's broke and he needed to win money to pay his bills. I don't know.
Yeah, true, but I mean, look, we know what
Now,
it means in his perspective. This is,
of course, look, I'm just playing devil's advocate, but at
I
the end
feel
of
you,
the
I feel you.
at the end of the day, Bryce was in my room. We shared a room. We talked. Like, he was a good kid. Also, keep in mind, Bryce is a kid. Like, Bryce is 21, 22 years old. I'm 15 years older than Bryce. So it's like kind of nuts to think, like, when I look at him, I'm like, dude, you're young.
Yeah,
So
no, definitely, it was a shell shock for everyone, including the people back at home. But yeah, no, I mean, his family has the real estate business for a very, very long time. The money trickles down. It's self-explanatory essentially, and with the location they live in. So good for them, but like I said, people aren't happy about this. And soon, once the dinner's over, you get the opportunity to pick people to go on this little excursion. And so, talk to me through your thought process on this whole decision.
So I love Brian. Brian's my boy. So I was just like, Brian, you're going because like this is she told us what the excursion was. We knew beforehand. So I don't think they air that. But they were like a zip lining trip. I've been zip lining before. You know what I mean? And I went to Dominican Republic on my honeymoon. So it's like I was like, I've done this experience and it's cool. And I've already done it. I experienced it. So why not give it to somebody? Brian's never leaving the farm. Like, that's his life, is the farm. So I was like, let Brian have it. And then Julie, a lot of things Julie said really resonate with me because of just like people I know that have had similar upbringing, similar situations as her. And I teach in a school where that's a pretty common thing. So, like, to me, that's like a person who might never have gotten this opportunity. So I was like, Julie, all she did was cry about how she felt like, people in her situation don't deserve good things. People don't deserve to be treated nice. People don't deserve anything. So I was like, here, take the trip. There you go. You deserve it too. So it was more just like to show her, like, hey, good things can happen if you're a good person. I didn't think she was gonna fucking take the money while she was there, but that's all right.
Hey, you had it. You was thinking people in the good, looking at the good side of people. So I don't blame you for that, man. You're definitely a stand-up dude for doing that.
Thank you.
Um, and so, but they get there, they're having a good time and whatnot. But then they're confronted with this offer, and Brian decides not to even look at it. And but Julie does, and she decides to take the offer. Um, would have looked at this offer?
Nah.
No, easy. Okay, cool, cool. Yeah, we good. We good with the sticking with the Brian moral values of things. I like it. I like it. But yes, the offer is for her that you must vote at the next trust ceremony, and you'll get $15,000 if the person you vote for goes home. So hypotheticals, of course she gets back, and luckily it was the round that everyone was trying to get Bryce. It was just bad timing on everything for him. Like, she had to vote somebody out. Everybody already, he was a millionaire. It was just bad timing.
Yeah.
If you were given this offer and you took it, who would have voted out?
Ooh, that's a good question. Let me think at that time in the game. You know what I mean? Like, I got to see like where we were. I don't know. I probably wouldn't have
Oh, he
voted.
played in the fifth. He played in the fifth. It's
I,
okay,
I
coach.
really don't know because, like, I don't know.
It would have been
I'm
easy.
not sure.
You would have had to vote Bryce out because he was getting voted out anyways.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I probably would have just jumped on the bandwagon of it, but then my whole game would have been a different game. You know what I mean? The rest of the time, now I'm part of the crew that votes. So,
Yeah, true, true, true. Well, soon they get back and they tell everybody the good time they had. Julie lies about opening the vault. Did you have any inclination that she lied, or you was like, all right, I believe you? No?
yeah, I
All
was
right.
like, hey, I just told you I believe in the good in you. So I couldn't imagine why she would go and lie the first thing after someone tells you they believe in you. You go and lie, but it's all right.
I
So you know
bet
how
your
many
kids get
times
away with a lot of stuff.
what?
I said, I bet your kids get away with a lot of stuff in class, huh?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know how many times I give kids the benefit of the doubt? I'm like, yeah, just take the bathroom pass. Last time you did, you got arrested with it, but this time you'll do the right thing. And they never come back. That's okay. I trust people.
It's okay though. I like that though. I like that. You got a good soul. You got a good soul. Well, soon we find out the value of the trust is $273,000, and Gaspar says you talked so much as a kid that he had to scale it back because he was losing your voice every day as a child. So, that was a funny little segment. Is that how serious did your voice get lost? Like, is it?
Yeah, I was like Godfather mobster as a kid.
We need
Like,
some clips, Coach. We need some clips.
Dad, I need some milk. Like it was like that.
Over, man, just. So, I had the same problem as a child. When my parents told me to shut up, I literally did not talk. Like, I took everything a little too literal. But you
Yeah,
kind
no,
of
I
just
just
like,
kept going.
like, that's good. Okay, yeah, y'all gonna hear this jibber jabber while I still got it, man. That's what he was telling them. But soon, yes, we get out of there, and Jake and Julie are getting a little bit closer and whatnot. But everyone's still talking about how they're getting Bryce out no matter what. Did you hear any rumblings about people wanting to get him, or that we're going to vote him out at all? No,
Nope.
nothing. He was just chilling, boy. You was kicking it on this little vacation, Coach. He was kicking it, y'all. He had his feet up, listening to imaginary music, telling some jokes, and then, getting his skits ready for when he got back. So this man was
Yeah, pretty
hustling while he
much.
was chilling.
Pretty
I
much.
like it.
That's what I did.
Okay, okay. Well, soon you guys get to the trust ceremony, the eviction ceremony, and, it's time to speak. And Bryce gives his speech once again, tries to, word things correctly. How did his speech come across to you?
Nah, the TV edit gave him even better than it was because it was just long and didn't make sense. And he's the first one to admit it. He's like watching it back. He's like, no, it wasn't it. Like he knew it. You know what I mean? But once again, in the moment, he knew he was going home. He knew they were going to vote. He wanted to say his piece, and he said what he said. It didn't make sense, but I'm happy he said it.
Yeah, you got a kick out of it a little bit. You say Bryce didn't answer any questions. He was ducking and dodging the actual points, and nobody was convinced. But hey, you was just thinking about football the whole time. I don't know why you was thinking about it because your teams, they in the dumpster fire. But hey,
Not at that time. We just signed Aaron Rodgers. We were
okay,
ready.
okay, okay. Did you know they signed Aaron Rodgers before you went on the show?
Maybe I found out on the show. I don't know. Maybe I
Mm.
overheard someone
Uh,
talking about it in production.
Oh, that's okay. That it's all making sense now. We getting okay. Jasper, he
I,
found out some good news, and he's like, "Look, forget the game. We worried about this football
I
game,
was like, all right,
coach."
if he's there, we got wide receiver, this, that. I was trying to just plan it all out.
Okay, he
So
was like, "Look, well, sorry for y'all season, man. First play. I hope you didn't show up, to the first game and had to witness that debacle. But hey, there's always next year. But yes, you get to the vote ceremony, and eventually Bryce is voted out. So tell me the mood after Bryce was voted out.
yeah, I mean, once again, it was just like all right, shit. Like we just felt like the other side of the house that wants to vote, is just going to keep picking off people one by one, and like the writing was on the wall. Like it's Jewel's, then it was Simone, then it was Bryce. You know what I mean? So we were kind of like, shit. It's only a matter of time before it's one of us. Which is
Yep.
like when people said we woke up and started playing the game. It's not really that we woke up and started playing the game. It's just that you start looking around, right? And as you know from being in the house, you start looking around who's not talking to me, who's avoiding, who's doing XYZ. And, we just kind of felt like, because I know this is now going to go into like the whole Jay and Winnie and why'd we go after Winnie. We just felt like Winnie was more away from everybody. She was more, and you know what? I give Winnie props 100 times over because in her exit interview, she said, through this experience, I learned that I need to soften the way I speak to people, or like something to that effect. I don't remember the exact quote, but she said like, sometimes I'm too direct to people and it can come off as abrasive or whatever. And that's the thing. Like I said, Tolu and I were hanging out. Mama Jay's a stand-up comedian. So like Jay and I would hang out, we would talk comedy, we would sit there doing embroidery. Like, it's kind of funny how like you don't really see any of that. But the thing is, and what's crazy too is I always said Winnie hated me, and I would always joke with her. She's like, I don't hate you, but she was never nice to me. But she was like, I don't hate you. That's just how I am. And I'm like, I'm gonna make you like me. And one of the days we were there, we were talking about like picnics, and she's like, oh, I never had a picnic. So I actually threw her this big candlelit picnic with everybody, and we all went and we partied. And I was like, come on, do you still hate me? And she's like, I never hated you. But then she was continue to not be nice to me. And now that I know Winnie better, that's just Winnie. Like she's just not going to be this overly affectionate. Like Tolu's a lot more like, come here, give me a hug. That's more of like the love that I know. Winnie's not like that. That's just not her personality. There's nothing wrong with that. So like when we start looking at like who wants us gone, I'm like, well, Jay don't want me gone and Tolu don't want me gone. But if one person doesn't like me, it's probably Winnie. And like, I don't think I was ever on the top of her hit list, but like, I knew she was going for Jake. And then if Jake fell, I figured she was going to go for Brian. And if Brian fell, I'm standing there. So I was like, we kind of have to act now before, and that's when people say like, well, now they went on the defense. Like, yeah, we did, because we didn't want to do that. We never planned on voting. But if all of a sudden 4 people are gone in a blink of an eye, you got to kind of jump the gun and start voting. So
No.
sure, I just cut a bunch of your questions out, but
It's okay. You didn't. I'm adjusting. I'm flexible, man. I don't just go
yeah,
by the scripts. I'm like the football plays, and I'm Peyton Manning calling Omaha at the
there you
line.
go. All right, cool. Now we're talking my language.
Exactly. See, we got it. We got it. I called a few Omahas just now. We good, coach. I'm gonna, throw a flag real quick, and we're gonna do a replay of downs for one real quick, because I do have to ask something that was probably the thing I was laughing at the most entire through the whole show. So when you guys find out that Bryce is voted out, Brian's talking. And Brian's like, I don't understand why Bryce was voted out. He was dynamic and a guy with a good heart, and I always liked him. He was a bird of a different feather. And then, Jay has like, comments to say about that towards him. So what do you think how did that come across to you? Like, what was
Dude,
going on?
Brian is he's like the most nicest, sheltered, as his own words, person. Brian wasn't saying it, and I know everyone's going to make it into whatever they're going to make it into. But Brian was just like, I'm sorry. No, my kids are screaming upstairs, and it's 10 o'clock at night. So I'm like, what the hell's happening? But it's my wife screaming at my kids to go to bed. I guess they're up. Brian was just being Brian. Like Brian's like, that's the most different person from me that I've ever met. Brian also thought that I was the most different, weirdest person. You know what I mean? Like Brian just like everybody in the house was so different than what Brian was. So like it was never meant as this like derogatory thing. It was just like, what the hell? He's the most different guy I ever met, and I want to learn more about him. And I think it was just taken out of context because of the situation that, there was already tension in the house and Jay was already mad at him for other things. So that's more what I think it was. Like, I think it was read into, and then of course with the edits and everything,
I mean, they went.
I'm sorry.
Now you guys, if you can take care of something, you can go. I can pause it real quick if you could, coach. If you need a minute. If you need to, go ahead. I got you.
Yeah, just give me.
Nah, you good. It's all good. So yeah, well, where we were was just, everyone, things are going by after, Bryce got eliminated, and you notice that Jake and Julie are falling in love, but he could get Julie to fall in line, and you think Lindsay essentially as well is going to align more with the guys than the girls at this time. And soon it's time for the next test. And, Brooke tells you guys that you're going to figure out who's been telling the most lies in the house, and you put on the blindfolds, and this is the candle gate situation. And soon, she's going to tap each person on the shoulder, and you will blow out the candle who finds untrustworthy. How'd you feel about this game?
It was just weird. You know what I mean? Like, it's just weird to just be laying there, just be sitting there and like someone taps you and they're like, oh, go blow out a candle and tell someone you don't trust them. It's just a weird concept, but it was fine. It was a fun game, I guess.
No, it wasn't now because you decided to blow out Winnie's candle. Why Winnie?
Because, like I said, the thing that people don't realize is you had to pick somebody. It wasn't like you could be like, nobody's. Like, so, I was like, who do I have the least connection with? And it was Winnie. So it was more of just a connection thing. Like, yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. I don't think she should have been surprised that her candles are blown out. I was surprised on her reaction, getting surprised about
Yeah, like,
having the
so
most.
were we. Like, you were fighting with all of us, and then you're like mad that we didn't like getting yelled at.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I was like, huh, but it was strange to y'all. It was strange to the audience. But yes, she had all her candles blown out. But then Brooke soon gives Winnie the key card to go into the vault, and she's so happy she's gonna take it and she's gonna vote Jake out the first second she gets. And yeah, soon you guys finish up, and Tolu's upset and coming at you guys now because her friend's candle was blown out. So how is it with like how now she's on you guys? Now what's going on?
I mean, she was honest, but she was incorrect. Like, she was blaming us all for blowing out the candles, and I just stated facts. I was like, "You're saying we all blew out the candles? We didn't. Like, all blew out the candles." And like, there's a lot that got cut out, but she was yelling at us, and it was very like, I don't know what you want us to tell you. I was like, we had to blow out a candle. I was like, I had to pick somebody that I, had the least relationship with, and it was her.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess she just didn't understand that. I don't know. It seemed pretty black, like pretty transparent, black and white, um, on the reasons. I mean, I don't know. Just me, it didn't. I don't know what the big fuss was about, but hey, it is what it is. Winnie soon enters the vault, and she takes the offer that Brooke hands her, and the offer is $20,000 from the trust is hers to keep, but if no one is voted out in the next trust ceremony, she will go home instead. So she gets up to you guys, lies about how much money it actually is. Not that big of a deal, honestly. Um, but yes, soon they're trying to figure out, the girls are trying to figure out how they're going to get the numbers back on their side, and they're cornering Julie in this moment. And so when all this is going down, where are you at going? What's going on with you?
I was probably eating.
So you don't know none of this craziness is going down?
I mean, like, you knew it was going on in the house. You knew they were scrambling to save Winnie, but at the same time, like, you know, it's like you can't. You're talking about over a 2 day span. So, like, they're showing it like it was bang, 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 right, one after another. But it's like, these things, like, Winnie didn't leave the room, and Tolu came down and had breakfast with all of us, and kind of was like, she was in a sad mood, but after a while, she was like, got out of it, and we were all back to talking. So it's like, once again, like, you're not doing anything to help your case as Winnie. So it's like she was plotting behind the scenes, but she wasn't down there trying to like repair stuff. And then when she came down, it was like too little, too late. It felt. Like,
Yeah.
she's like, "Hey, you guys blew out my candles. Why? I have to leave." I think I even said it. I was like, "I don't think you like me." I was like, I don't know if that aired, but she's like, "I do," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." Like, that's all right. Cool. Then never mind. We're all good.
Yeah, definitely. It's hopefully a lesson for the people back at home. Like, look, if you got a problem and you feel some type of way, the best thing to do is go talk it out and see what's going on, not just run away from the problems and hopefully things settle, ease on their own. You got to take the action and not let the action take you out of the game. But yes, Gasper, you also mentioned that you didn't leave your family for a month just to not financially benefit. So that's definitely understandable as well. I'm totally with you on that. And soon, yes, it is time for the trust ceremony. Um, and Winnie and Tolu basically kind of destroyed their relationships in this instance. But however, when we get to this one, Winnie breaks it down.
Real quick,
And
just look at what I sent in the chat. Sorry.
are you good? You good, coach?
That's good. All right.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. I got you.
Yeah.
We'll pick it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Sorry.
yes, but tell me how that was when she started berating Lindsay.
Yeah. I mean, like, look, I felt bad for Lindsay, but you have to understand from our point of view, Lindsay always said she was with us, but then she also always told the girls she was with them. So, I know, like, it's so hard for people because now this is going to just bleed into the next thing that happens with like with Lindsay and stuff. For us, it was like Lindsay's saying constantly, she's with us, she's with us, she's with us. Never saying like I'm with you guys and I'll go get information from the girls. It was like I'm with you guys, I'm with you guys. Then she would go to the girls and say, I'm with you guys, I'm with you guys. And basically Winnie tells us that. So like now in hindsight, like, yeah, I'm like, yeah, Winnie, you were right, you know, but at the time it seemed like she was saying it to save herself. She's like, the biggest snake in this house is not me. It's the person who you are letting run back and forth. And at the time, it just seemed like an irrelevant comment that you needed to say to save yourself. But like now looking at it, I'm like, yeah, Lindsay was playing both sides of the house. And Lindsay made it very clear, like, I'm going to do what I can to win, you know? And now, granted, maybe, well, whatever, that's at the end. We'll get to that. But, you know, so when he told us all that, we were now like kind of getting suspicious of Lindsay, but we were like, she seems like she's still with us, but we were suspicious of her.
Yeah.
Then the card game happens. Is that what's next, right? I believe.
Yep. Yep.
So
Yep.
at the card game, once again, it's fun. Who's the nicest? Who's the funniest? Give a chip to this, give it, and it's like fun, and everyone's having a good time. And then it's like, who do you think is going to win the game? And like Brian and I are racking up chips, we're having a great time, and then all of a sudden, it's like, who do you trust? Now, keep in mind, I did trust Lindsay. Lindsay and I shared a room. We talked every day. You know, at this point, Jay was gone, right? Yeah, Jay had already been gone. So like Jay leaving was a shock, but not really, because I think she knew she was going to get voted out because there's a lot of turmoil in the house. So Jay just accepted the plea deal and went home. So I felt like I did trust Lindsay, number one, because we're roommates, but also like you had always told me you were on my team. So why would I not put you? And Jake felt the same way. Like Jake's like, you've said you were on our team. But once again, we did have those suspicions that she wasn't. So we put the card down, and Winnie and Tolu's faces literally told us everything we needed to know about Lindsay. Because for them to be that shocked only meant that they're shocked because she's saying she's with us, because they thought she was with them. So it was really the same shock was on our faces when we saw their faces, because it's like, oh, like, because if Winnie and Tolu thought that she, you know, if she was on their team being a double agent with the guys, then it wouldn't have been that surprising. They would have just been like, great, the guys really trust Lindsay. But because it was like a shock and anger, I was like, oh, that makes sense. Like, they're mad because she's on their team and we trust her. So now she says we outed her as a spy. You were on both teams. And as I said to Brooke on the cliff, like, if you're on two teams, you're on no team, in my opinion. Like, you have to pick a side, unfortunately. And so Winnie ends up getting eliminated, right? Now that's after the poker game.
Before, but no worries.
No, she doesn't get eliminated before the poker game, Winnie, because she was in the poker game.
Okay, my bad. After.
Yeah,
My
she
bad. I
played
mixed
poker
it up.
with us.
Yeah, she played poker. That's right. That's right. That's right.
So she gets eliminated, I believe, that next day.
Yeah, the
She
next day.
gets eliminated. And on her going away speech, she basically is like, it's not me, it's Lindsay. You guys are after the wrong person. Lindsay's a snake. And more she was saying, like, damage was done. She was already eliminated. This was on her way out. But more and more, it was all starting to click. It was like, oh shit, like Lindsay is playing both sides. And then Lindsay leaves and Tolu is all by herself. And Tolu basically cried for 24 straight hours. And like, just the human in me, I was like, I don't care if this girl hates us. Like, I can't just let someone just cry all day. So like, I went up, we hung out, we talked, and she really started breaking things down. And granted, Lindsay could say that Tolu, it's a he said, she said. Lindsay says that Tolu said, I'm going to go down and fake cry. Tolu swears on everything in her life that she didn't say that. It's not on film. I'll never know unless Netflix sends it to me. But the reality is this: Tolu never looked at me and said anything that was a lie. Everything she said, I voted for Bryce. I voted for this. I voted for that. I vote at that point. Lindsay, we were like, you're with us, right? We're not voting. And she's like, hell yeah, I'm with you guys. And then voted every single time. So like, look at it from my perspective. when we unleashed the laundry list of names in the trust circle, Lindsay, at this point, I'm still like, okay, she's on my team. Tolu is telling me all this stuff, but I don't really fully believe it. You know what I mean? Like, I believe it because Tolu's never lied to me and she's my friend, but I'm like, I still think Lindsay's on my team. And then, like, literally the laundry list comes out and it's every name of every person who went home. And like, there was no surprises with Tolu's list. There was no surprises with Julie's list. They had told us we voted. Yeah, we did. But with Lindsay's list, everything was a shock. I thought she was going to have one name on it, Winnie. We thought she
Mhm.
voted with us. She told us she was always with us. So it was kind of shocking when she voted for everybody. So then, of course, going through my mind now is what's next? She has literally voted to get rid of somebody every time. Now I know she wants Tolu out. So like Tolu is going to be her main threat. But now if she gets Tolu out, then what? Is it going to be then me, Jake, Brian, or Julie next? Whereas in just even on a selfish level, Tolu was never coming for me. We were always close. So I was like, if Tolu comes to this finale night, I'm not worried about her going after me. I'm not worried about Jake. I'm not worried about Brian. And I'm not really worried about Julie. So I pretty much ensure that I will win. But if Lindsay comes, I didn't fully know. She was kind of a wild card. So, like, in my eyes, I was like, you have voted every time, you know? So
Yep.
it just seemed more logical to carry Tolu to the end than, and like, and listen, Lindsay and I spoke about this. We met when we were in LA. We talked about it all. We cleared it up. And like, she's like, look, I watched the footage. Like, I see what you see. I can understand why you thought I was crazy, why you thought I was playing both sides. Why, you know, she's like, I didn't, I see it, you know, and from a gameplay level, you see Big Brother people, you see Survivor people, they vote each other out and then they're together the next week because it's like game recognizes game. Just like, you know, after Pat Mahomes beat Josh Allen last week, they hugged it out and said, damn, hell of a game. Because it's like you want to win, but unfortunately, there's going to be losers, there's going to be winners in a game. And
Yep.
I think Lindsay just, she overplayed it. She was looking at it more of a Big Brother, make alliances, make this. The game is literally called the trust. If you go in and you are just genuinely like not trying to screw people over, you pretty much made it to the end. Me, Jake, Brian, we went in, we said, we're not going to vote. We're not going to do it unless we have to. And we made it to the end. How Julie and Tolu got there, I'm not 100% sure, but they,
Yeah, definitely. And that explains everything how, why you voted her. So completely makes sense. I appreciate you clearing that up. So,
yeah, because
yes,
like,
there's,
you know, I'm getting killed online for it because they don't see all the other context. Because like in most people's eyes, Tolu and I don't even know each other. So when they're like, why would you save Tolu, a stranger, over Lindsay? I'm like, but she wasn't a stranger. Lindsay had been doing things. Tolu had not, to me. Maybe to the group, it's different, but to me, I was
yeah,
thinking on, and don't forget, Brian and I were talking about switching the target to Lindsay, and then they called the voting ceremony. So we never got to really fully see it. But you see on the doc when we're talking and she was walking around that that was the plan. Like we were headed to getting rid of her instead of Tolu.
definitely, definitely. Makes complete sense. And yeah, you guys get there and, you're the defining vote, voting Lindsay out, as you just explained. And we get to the final five. And soon, it's final five. The game's almost over. But, you all go down and get this offer. You all decline it, except, of course, Tolu. But you don't know this. So we get to the final cliff where everyone's at. And, you have your envelopes in your hand. And so when you find out ultimately that everyone didn't vote or nobody got voted out, how are you feeling after this moment? Like, but you know that the money's
Well,
down. So
I
like, are
will
you?
say, like when they show that like wide angle of all of us hearing her say how much money's left, and you see everybody counting, that's like super authentic and real because we were all like, "What the fuck?" And then like I looked down the line. Jake definitely no. Brian definitely no. Julie was just as shocked as I was. And then I look at Tolu and she can't even look at me. And I knew she couldn't look at me because we were friends, and she knew she just ended up screwing us over. You know what I mean? So for me personally, like it was never even the thought to touch that money because you didn't know. What if you walked out of that vault and they were like, hey, by the way, someone took the money and now go vote. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know what they're going to say. So why at the very end screw yourself? But a lot of people online are like, well, how mad were you? And honestly, in the moment, I'm mad because, of course, you're mad because you just lost money. But at the end of the day, I was like, if I was Tolu, I would have did the same thing. 24 hours ago, she thought she was going home. So why would she not? Why would she all of a sudden trust all of us and be like, I'm actually just going to stay, okay, cool. Like, and then get eliminated, make it all to the end just to get eliminated doesn't make sense. So I get why she took the money. It sucks, but and in the moment she told us afterwards, everyone was mad, but everybody's come around to it to understand why. And like, she thought she was going home. And honestly, when she was holding her envelope up, I thought Jake was going home for sure. And I was like, oh shit. Like, I brought this girl to the end. Now she's going to vote out Jake. I was going to Venmo Jake $20,000 when we got home because I felt bad. I was like, I'll give him half the money since I brought Tolu. Like, I felt responsible for him getting eliminated. But she shared it and everything was good. And I mean, I'm on good terms with everybody, for the most part, you know.
Okay, good. Yeah, thank you. That was excellent, man. And congratulations on well as winning the game.
Thank you.
You did what you needed to do to come through. You got the bag, came back home, and you did what you said from the very get-go. I didn't come all the way out here for nothing, coach. I'm leaving here with something
Yeah.
on your Denzel side of the game. So congratulations once again. Thank you so much for joining the podcast. It was excellent to have you.
No, thank
And
you for having
you
me.
know, oh, well, it's more than a pleasure, honor, and privilege. Is there any last words you want to say to the people to like clear anything, or
Nah,
anything?
listen, just understand that there's so much more. I mean, this was the most in depth of the show I've ever. You just remind me of things I haven't even thought of in months. But like, just keep in mind that there's so much more than the camera can capture. And that's in any show you watch. Like, you know, I think that you're seeing such a snippet of somebody's life, somebody's day. If I took video of DeAndre and I only took a video of him for 24/7 and I only got you, driving your car, getting cut off, and then you curse somebody out, then you get into an argument with somebody at the deli, and then you get into a fight with, a friend, and I highlight those three things and put them on TV, and I say, this is you, it's going to make you look like an asshole. Or I can only highlight the three good things you did in the day and say, this is you, and you look like the best person. I like to believe I played the same game throughout. There was no game. It was just me being myself. The highlight of the season for me is when Brian and Tolu were having their emotional moment and I was just spraying suntan lotion on my face, caught in the camera. So, that's it. Just be yourself. That's really it.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, what's the name, man? You a stand-up guy? That's why your name stand up.
No, that's for stand-up comedy. Go follow me on Instagram at standuprandazzo. And
Yeah,
you can,
stand up Randazzo, stand up guy. I don't know why y'all wouldn't go see him and get your tickets. They hot right now. I know I'm going to see a show, coach, and
yeah,
so I
thank
can't
you.
wait. But yeah, thank you so much again, Gasper, for joining us. I hope we get to connect soon because I know you in Staten Island. I'm in Manhattan. We right around the
Yeah.
block, so definitely we gonna link soon. But thank you so much again for joining the podcast, and thank y'all
Thank you
for
for
tuning.
having me.
Cool, cool, and
All
well,
right.
thank you. Now you can.
No, yeah, yeah. No problem.
And for us, y'all, peace and blessings, and have a wonderful rest of your day.